recording, sir.
Thank you. We got 2 minutes.
I noticed.
And I don't see the Daughters of the American Revolutions on it. You didn't talk. Like they wore shorts.
No. You have pictures.
They only went from there up. Oh, that's right. We did a picture. You'd have died if I'd come off in shorts, wouldn't you?
That's what I was worried about when Tony sent that email saying, are these headshots only?
Yeah.
I wanted to respond saying, please wear pants.
Did you hear that? Threw you under the bus like it. I'm. How you doing? I'm Jody Mosher. So I've been talking to Mr.
You've got 1 minute, and I'm beating his gavel.
Who's doing the invocation? And the pledge?
Randy. Randy, will you do the pledge tonight?
I know it's ongoing, I just haven't seen it in the agenda.
You got 15 seconds, Debbie.
Go for it. We've been here long enough.
I'd like to call the regular scheduled meeting of the Kingston City Council to order. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand. Mr. Gwynn will give us the invocation, and Mr. Childs will lead us in the pledge.
Heavenly Father God, thank you for what a beautiful day we have. Lord, just be with us as we meet and make all the right decisions for the citizens of Kingston. And Father, be with those who are hurting, and we'll give you praise and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Councilmember Bradwell.
Here.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Present.
Councilmember Childs.
Present.
Councilmember Gwynn.
Present.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Wright.
Present.
Mayor Neal.
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Gwynn, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Childs. Any corrections or deletions to the minutes?
I'd like to make to move an amendment. Oh,
Not right now.
okay.
Anything else on the minutes? Please call the roll on approval of the minutes.
Councilmember Bradwell.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Childs.
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Now it's time we set aside for any citizens' comments. First on the agenda, we have Brian Walker will be coming from the Executive Director of Roane County E911 first.
Thank you, guys. Excuse me. For those, I think I've met everybody. My name's Brian Walker. I'm the director down at the 911 Center. I want to thank Mr. Brown. He's on my board, and the opportunity to talk to you guys, kind of tell you a little bit about this. This is something that's been kind of in the works, the being able to text 911. It's been in the works for a while. We've actually been able to have the ability to do it, but it was something we hadn't really talked about because not all the cellular carriers were able to do it, so we're kind of waiting until everybody was on board. A little bit about it, you guys, I handed a piece of paper there. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but think about 911. When you go to text, it's just like any other thing. It takes a little bit longer to do. It takes a little bit longer to respond, but it's perfect, or unfortunately, we have to have it for not only for the deaf or hearing impaired. It's definitely a key component to that, but it also, if you're in a situation, someone's breaking in your house, you're not sure what to say, how to say it. We get domestic text on this. We've had some where a car accident and they can't get to speak to the phone, but they got it set up to where it'll text while they're driving or whatever. We've seen kind of some different things that we have seen it for. Fortunately, the couple that I know, for examples, one of them that we had was, fortunately, it was not a true 911 emergency, but we had a young lady, a juvenile that had texted in, said she was being held against her will. due to the way the text came in, we were able to get the longitude, latitude. We were able to put it in our system and track it to a house in Rockwood. Come to find out, it was a young lady was grounded, had her phone taken away from her. She got a tablet that had Wi-Fi and was texting from it because she wanted to go back to Mama's, who was going to give her phone back. So fortunately, it was not a bad incident. We did have one with a young man who was threatening suicide. He would not talk. We try, anytime the text come in with 911, to kind of let you know how that goes. You text 911 just like you text anybody else. And as soon as you do it, some carriers, what we have seen when we've been testing this is, some of the carriers will give you a prompt message that says you've reached Rome County E911, what's your emergency? Some will not, most don't. What it does in our office is it alarms, just like it's a different tone than what the phone calls are. And it pops up on the screen, and we answer it just like it would pop up on our dispatcher's screen, just like a 911 call would. And then we're able to communicate with them. One thing that's important that we're trying to make sure everybody understands is, obviously, calling 911 is by far the best for us and for your emergency if you're able to. One, because with our dispatchers, we've got some pretty good trained dispatchers, and what they hear outside of the actual phone conversation is important for the first responders. However, if you can't, then the text is the next best thing. We ask that people, text in plain talk. My dispatchers are taught not to use the emojis and the short abbreviations because it means something different to everybody else. All our texting, all the texts that come in are all recorded. So everything's recorded and saved if we do need them for some kind of court document or something like that. So all that comes in. Unfortunately, right now, and we're testing, I've got to get with our language, because right now, if you call in, we don't have anybody that speaks fluent so we just transfer those calls to a call taker that is fluent. I've got to test that and see with our call takers if we can do. Right now, the only thing I know we can do is English. We're working on to see what we can do to see how that has to work. It's just something new that we're working through. Typically, what you'll get when you text is it'll be a conversation. We just encourage everybody to kind of follow the instructions, just like they would if it was a 911 call. At the end of the call, what usually happens, and so far I've seen this as pretty much any carrier has been this way, is it will let you know when we disconnect. We actually tested it the other day just to see how long it would stay up, and it's quite a while that it'll stay active on our side if there's no response. And the reason is, unlike the 911, if you call 911 and hang up, we can usually try to call you back. With texting 911, depending on what your phone is, we may not be able to text you back. It won't always give us that information because it doesn't always give us the phone number. It just gives us that it's a text depending on the carrier and all that. So those are things. As far as I know, other than it's just like a cell phone. So if you don't have, if you got 911 only, I think you can still text with it as far as they've told us. The other thing is if you have, if you're texting off of a Wi-Fi service, it'll work. But if you don't have, if you got a cell service that doesn't have text messaging available, then it's obviously you have to have that plan in order to text from what I understand. You guys have any questions that I can try to answer for you?
When you do you said some of you weren't able to text back to, once you text in, will it still give you the?
Whenever as soon as it comes in, it gives us it'll start giving us information. One thing I will say, and we're still testing this to see how it does on everybody's, but there was a thing that came out a while back on smartphones, and if you go into like the iPhones, I know, and I think some of the Androids, if you go in there and put your emergency contact information, like your name, your information in there, some of that stuff will generate in the 911. Again, it's kind of a new to the phone companies as well, so it doesn't do it to all of them. But if you put in there like your emergency contact and your different things that I know, like you can put in there like if you're diabetic, so if you're in a car accident and something happens, it'll notify us of that. Some of that does show up in there. That is in the first call. Sometimes when we text back, it just depends on here again what kind of carrier they have. Like today, we tested before I came down here. I had a couple of questions, so I had them text and practice. one of them was text and it was a little bit of a delay. Another one text and it hit real quick. So that's why we say it's, give us, and typically when you text, you're gonna get a response. Like I said, if it's not automated, it will let us know, and you're gonna get hey, what's the location of your emergency. They're gonna start asking those questions just as if you call 911.
All right, thank you. That's a good enhancement for our service in Monroe County.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council tonight?
Hi, I'm Felicia Jester. Just got shocked. I'm with the Roan Chamber, and I gave you some papers. I just want to take a few minutes of your time just to highlight that we had a couple of ribbon cuttings since I was here last with J&E Studios, it's a dance studio, and Nitschke's Hometown Bakery. And we have a new member that's from Kingston. I don't think they're a new business to Kingston, but it's Farmers Insurance, the Colton Insurance Agency. I just want to bring to your attention, just on the tourism end of it, that the Kingston Food Truck Rallies are getting ready to start, and the dates are there for you. Each week they have something new. For instance, on the first one is First Responders Night, but they are trying something new this time. They're not going to be 4 weeks in a row. They're going to be on 1 week, off a week, on 1 week. It just seems like that whenever they get started and just get rolling, that then they were gone. So they're going to try this method. So that's about all I have to report. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the council tonight? All right, seeing none, we'll go into reports. I'll start with Ms. Johnson. Do you have anything to report tonight?
Not tonight.
Ms. Wright, do you have anything? Mr. Brown?
No.
Mr. Quinn?
No.
Mr. Childs?
Well, I'm the only one that's gonna say anything tonight probably, but this is my last council meeting. It's been great. Y'all been good to work with. March 31st will be my last day as a councilman. Turn all my stuff in on April 1st, April birthday. But, learned a lot from working with everybody and really appreciate it.
Mr. Ridley, have anything? I don't think I have anything either, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Bowley.
Thank you, Mayor. I have just a couple things here. First of all, Councilmember Childs, thank you for your service. Been a pleasure to work with you. So hopefully we'll still see you around. So don't be a stranger. One thing you saw, I'm sure, my email about the STP project and the problems we were having there. I think I copied everybody but the president on that, and I'm just happy to report that it worked. And we've been getting very prompt service on that. We're in the process of setting up a weekly progress meeting, which will start next week, and we've gotten more communication on that in the last couple of days than we've had in the last couple months. So hopefully that will be moving forward in a positive way. Another thing, happy to report that our property tax revenue today, we finally went in the black. So we have met our projection for the year and still have about $155,000 in taxes outstanding. So that will just continue going. But very, very happy that for those of us who obsess over the budget, this is an important day. So happy to see that. The other thing I was just going to mention, and City Attorney can certainly expand on this if he wants to, but he did inform me today that the suit has been filed on 500 North Kentucky Street. So happy to see that moving forward as well. And Andrew, I don't know if you have anything to expand on that, but we're glad to see that. And that's all I have unless you have any questions.
The lawsuit has been filed. It's currently out for service by the Roan County Sheriff's Department. I'll update council once I have service back on that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the city manager? Seeing none, item 7, addition of items of the meeting agenda received after the close of the agenda deadline. I did not receive any. There is no unfinished business, so we'll go into 9, new business. Item A is consideration of appropriation not to exceed $1.2 million from undesignated fund balance for paving and striping of streets, necessary manhole, and various risers in contingency. Do I have a motion for this appropriation?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Childs, second by Mr. Gwynn. Anyone have anything?
I'd like to move to attend the most amount to appreciate amount of not to exceed more than $33,000 for the undecided fund balance from the
replacement of a water line installment of a irrigation meter and improvements to the to the kitchen and at the community center.
Yes, we have an amendment. Is there a second on the amendment?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gwynn. Before we vote on the amendment, since it's something we didn't talk about Tuesday night, I'll turn it over to Mr. Hamilton to explain to us about what the water line's going to do for us.
Thank you, Mayor. So what this is going to do is we've had some leaks at the community center and everything like that, pool, and it's caused a lot of high bills. So with this, putting this line in, they will be designated on an irrigation meter only, so there'll be no sewer charges on that. And with this, they will actually be getting 2 lines into that building. One brand new line that's I'm guessing somewhere probably around 40 years old that will supply that building, and then it'll be a whole totally separate line for the pool itself. But this should help bring the cost of those bills down, new lines and everything like that, so that pool will have its own individual meter.
Mr. Bowley?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just want to point out apologize for not having this at the workshop last week. We didn't have all the information ready. We got all the estimates today. And one thing I will add to what Kevin said, a positive on this is with the pool going on the irrigation meter, the savings that we'll have off not paying sewer to fill that up will pay for every bit of this. So this is much needed work and will definitely pay for itself. So.
Probably something that should have been done quite a long time ago. Correct. Are there any other questions on the amendment? Madam Clerk, Mr. Brown, I'm sorry.
If it pays for all of it, how long does it take to pay for it? And all I'm doing is looking at that'll be less revenue for the water side. Is that over how many years are we looking at?
I'd have to look to see what the sewer bill is when the pool's filled up, but I could get that information and get it back to you.
It would be several years over it.
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
$33,000 out of this year's budget.
No. It'll take a few years, but it will pay for itself.
Anything else on the amendment? Madam Clerk, call the roll on the amendment, please.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye. So now the motion will be to add that amendment to it. Is there any discussion on the original motion about the paving that we've got set aside for this year?
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Mr. Bowley.
I was just a point of clarification. We had originally talked in the workshop about $1 million. I did increase that to $1.2 million. As you see here, you should have in front of you the estimate that we received from Rogers Group. We also added money in there for striping, which was approximately $20,000, and another $20,000 or so for manholes and water valves. And so this will do all of that and leave a little bit of extra money for contingency. So I just want to explain what the difference was.
And this will be paving 26 streets inside the city, which is, how many miles did we come up with on that?
7.5.
Okay, over 7 miles of paving for the city. Any questions on the paving? Madam Clerk, call the roll on that motion, please.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item B is consideration of appropriation not to exceed $80,000 for the undesignated fund balance for the purchase of a new rescue truck for the fire department. This is also something we discussed Tuesday night. Do you hear a motion for this appropriation?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Gwynn, second by Mr. Childs. Mr. Gwynn?
No, it's needed.
Mr. Childs?
I can say about $100,000 going that route. Be a decision.
Council members? Seeing no other discussion, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item C is consideration to adopt a new logo for the city of Kingston. And I think Kelly's got all the logos she'd put in there that we're going to do. So do I hear a motion on the logo?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Wright. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Bradwell. Ms. Wright?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Redwell? Anything from council? Madam Clerk, call the roll on the new logo.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item D is consideration to approve the first reading of ordinance 2403-1201, an ordinance revising the comprehensive codification and revision of the 2023 personnel rules and regulations of the city of Kingston. To hear a motion for this, first reading.
Make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Childs? Anything?
No.
Ms. Johnson? Council members? Madam Clerk, call the roll on that first reading, please.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item E is consideration to approve the first reading of ordinance 2303-1202, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee for fiscal year 2023-24. To hear a motion for this first reading.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Wright, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Johnson. Ms. Wright, any questions?
Nothing, sir.
I think everything that was on that was in our packet for this, this month. Ms. Johnson, do you have anything?
No.
Councilman? Madam Clerk, call the roll on the first reading, please.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye. Item F is consideration to approve the first reading of ordinance 2403-1203, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the city of Kingston, Tennessee Water and Sewer Fund for fiscal year 23-24. To hear a motion for this first reading.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gwynn, second by Mr. Bradwell. Mr. Gwynn?
No, sir.
Mr. Bradwell?
No, sir.
Council? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item G is consideration to approve the first reading of ordinance 2403-1204, an ordinance to abolish ordinance 410-12-2, an ordinance to establish a driver safety course and cease offering in-person driving school through the Kingston Police Department. To hear a motion for this first reading.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Childs, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Wright. Mr. Childs, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Ms. Wright, do you have anything?
I do not.
I think Chief Washington explained pretty well Tuesday night what was going on with that, so.
Yes, this will enable people who want to take driving school
Online.
online and will reduce our expenditures in providing that course.
Council, anything else? Madam Clerk, call the roll on that first reading.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Item H is consideration to approve a request by Jason Taylor to close West Cumberland Street from Johnson Street to Patton Ferry Road on April 27th from 1 to 6 for a car show. We have a motion to approve the closure of this road. Motion by Mr. Gwynn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bradwell. Mr. Gwynn? Anything?
No.
Mr. Bradwell? Do you know what is the car show for?
He usually does it for individuals.
Yeah, I didn't know what.
I don't know what he's doing this time.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
I hadn't heard.
It's his cruise for a cause, but he didn't say which was.
He didn't, yeah.
Okay. Probably more will come out. It
Yeah.
does. Anything from council? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Yes.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Consideration to accept the resignation of Councilmember Randy Childs. To hear a motion to accept his resignation.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Reluctantly, I'll second.
Again, thank you, Councilmember Childs, for the service you've done for the city. We're gonna miss you because you helped do a good job and we got a lot of things accomplished in the 8
Thanks.
years that you've been here, though. Madam Clerk, call the roll to accept the resignation.
Councilmember Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Childs,
Abstain, I guess.
Councilmember Gwynn,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Wright,
Yes.
Mayor Neal.
Aye. That being the end of the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. So now we'll go into the regular meeting of the Kingston Beer Board. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for the beer board, please?
Member Bradwell,
Here.
Vice Chair Brown,
Present.
Member Childs,
Here.
Member Gwynn,
Here.
Member Johnson,
Present.
Member Wright,
Present.
Chairman Neal.
Present. Do you hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Bradwell, second by Mr. Childs. I see no corrections, deletions. There wasn't much in last month's meeting either. Madam Clerk, call the roll on the minutes.
Member Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Brown,
Yes.
Member Childs,
Yes.
Member Gwynn,
Yes.
Member Johnson,
Yes.
Member Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye.
7 ayes.
No business on the agenda tonight. Is there anything to come before the beer board? Which means adjourned. Then we'll go straight into the meeting of the Kingston Water Board. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Member Bradwell,
Here.
Vice Chair Brown,
Present.
Member Childs,
Present.
Member Gwynn,
Present.
Member Johnson,
Present.
Member Wright,
Present.
Chairman Neal.
Present. To hear a motion to approve the previous minutes as written.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Gwynn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Johnson. You see any corrections, deletions, these minutes?
No.
Not much on them either. Madam Clerk, call the roll on the previous minutes.
Member Bradwell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Brown,
Yes.
Member Childs,
Yes.
Member Gwynn,
Yes.
Member Johnson,
Yes.
Member Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Neal.
Aye. Now we set aside time for citizens. Is there any citizens wishing to come before the water board tonight? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go on the utility director's report. Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real light tonight. Just want to give you all some good news. Weather and the beautiful sunshine that we've been having, we've been able to start some patching today. So hopefully, before long, we'll be able to get all that knocked out. The water department and street department sort of joined forces, and we're going, hopefully, for the rest of the week, that's going to be our main focus. So we'll be getting a lot of patching done and road cuts. But that's all I have for y'all tonight. If y'all have anything for me.
Mr. Bowley.
Just one thing, Mayor. Of course, you have our written report submitted. One thing I do want to point out in that, one of you called me last month a little alarmed when you saw that our line loss was 31%. Of course, that was a result of all the leaks we had after the winter storm. Just happy to point out that that's back down to 14% where it belongs. So just wanted to point that out, and that's all I have.
I know a lot of utilities would like to have 14%. Or 30.
Definitely.
Yeah. Any questions for Mr. Bowling and Mr. Hamilton? All right. Seeing none, there's nothing on new business. Is there anything else to come before the water board tonight? All right. Seeing none, this meeting's adjourned.